them to change it to their first and last name, because we won't know who they are in order for them to get their CPE credit. So
right, and they do that in their little rectangle up in the right corner with the 3 dots, correct?
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's probably the most important piece, I think, for Diane to communicate.
Perfect.
And I just have the live stream. Everything is up and ready to go on YouTube, you all. So if you are ready, we can do the 3, 2, 1 countdown here. Just let me know. You all look lovely this morning, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. So
And turn ringers off. I just had a ring come through, so
I feel
it.
Mark, if you don't mind, go ahead and just turn off your video here for this fireside chat piece. We will call once we kind of wrap this up. Thank you. So, letting everybody in. 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Just before we get started here, I wanted to mention, if your name is not showing up in your little rectangle, we need that in there, first and last name, if you're wanting to get CPEs, CEUs credit. So in that rectangle, there's 3 little dots at the top right corner. Click on that, rename yourself so that you get credit for these.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's great to start our virtual day off with a fireside chat, which is something we've been doing for the past year, sort of our way of doing a live update to our members. The idea is kind of to give everyone an update on where we are, talk about some of the exciting things happening within the chapter, maybe explain some things, and certainly an avenue that if you guys have any questions, to please let us know while we're going through everything. So I'll be monitoring the chat box. So if you have any questions, please throw it into the chat box as we talk, and we'll go ahead and get started. So it's our first time with Govi and Misty on. I think Govi's been on once before, but excited to do another version of our fireside chat. And Govi, I think the first thing we talked about starting off with is sort of our vision, our mission, our values, for the Florida Hfma chapter, particularly for this coming year, kind of what our purpose is. So I'm going to leave it to you and Misty to take that one away.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Misty. Thanks for putting this fireside chat together. I think it's a really cool experience to share a bunch of interesting and exciting things that our chapter is doing, not via a newsletter, something you got to read, that you can actually watch and kind of hear directly from us. I'd encourage all of you to, turn your video on if you want. I know it's not the same thing as being there in person, but the closest we can get to it, we'll try. Really wish we had this in person so we can see each other's faces and give each other hugs. But I'm glad we're able to do this nevertheless. And I want to thank the committee and all those that support our chapter. I want to thank Demars for helping to kind of help with the logistics. We're having a really fun, a great event coming up for you today. So getting to Phil's question regarding, I think it's a good place to start here. What is our vision, mission, and values? What's our purpose, really, Florida Hfma is trying to achieve? And so earlier this year, back in February, the incoming board, and really several other key chapter leaders, we got together in person. For many of us, it was the first time we were seeing each other in real life before the pandemic started. And so the event was all outdoors. We're all safe, socially distancing. In addition to doing a lot of fun team building and playing tricks on each other, we spent some time really talking about the purpose and the vision for the upcoming year. And so And we knew things were going to look differently. We're not naive that we're going to for a while. So we accepted that challenge and rose to the occasion. So we laid out our mission and our guiding principles, which really is to provide the best experience possible for our members and surrounding community. And we do that collectively. It's really important as one chapter by delivering innovative strategies. All right, so we're always thinking about how to be creative, leveraging technology, trying to be the pioneer chapter out there, and really focusing on networking opportunities, community outreach. As you noticed, we've been doing more and more charity and giving back to others in the community. Obviously, education, which is our core purpose. And then professional development opportunities, which I'll get into a little more about what we're doing there with our certification classes that we're offering. But that's essentially, when we talk about our vision values, what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it's a great start. I know you and I talked a little bit about maybe the strategy about some of that stuff. Is there anything you want to comment in terms of strategy?
Yeah. So. Right. So that was the vision and mission is a starting point. It actually, is a good segue into how we actually formulated a plan around that. And so every chapter is required to submit what's called a chapter success plan. And so you actually put something on paper. What are your goals, objectives, and how are you going to accomplish that? Right. It's great to have a purpose, but you need to have a plan too. So we're going to focus on 4 key areas. There's more than 4, but those are some of the key areas that we're working on. Membership, enterprise communication, collaboration, and provider engagement. So when we think about membership, you can really think either about growth, right? Growing, adding more members, or retention, keeping your members for life. We want members for life. So we're really focusing on both. Probably more of a focus on retention than growth. I think it's fair to say that our chapter really focuses on keeping our members happy. Healthcare is a very small world, right? If you have a happy member, the word of mouth is going to happen and everyone will benefit. Through that, you will grow your membership and you'll grow your sponsorship in direct correlation to that. So our director of membership, David Hoyle, he's rolling out several initiatives. Some of them are at the kind of enterprise membership level. So those of you that are working in an organization and your organization does not have an enterprise membership and you're interested in learning more, please reach out to David. It is the most cost-effective way to get you and the rest of your organization's membership to Hfma and all the benefits that are available. And then he's also working on some individual things as well to improve that membership and volunteer experience. In terms of enterprise communication, we're making a ton of updates here. Deb Kelly is our director of creative marketing and communications, doing a phenomenal job of thinking through how we can redesign our chapter website. I encourage you all to get on there. There's some new pictures that we posted from our recent spring conference event and our senior executive retreat and some other neat new information there. We're changing the way improving the way, I should say, we do social media posts. So we're getting more on a schedule, like every day of the week might be a different way that we communicate updates, give recognition to our volunteers that support our chapter, celebrate those that got certified, right? Your CHR, CHFP, and then our weekly newsletter, right? So I know a lot of this, the weekly newsletter gets lost in spam. I'm the president of the chapter and I don't even get it sometimes, and I have to go in my spam folder to fish it out. So I'm so glad Phil kind of set something like this up, which just kind of changes it up, gives you guys a different way to kind of hear what's going on. But we're also making changes to that design too. So lots of exciting things to come up. Collaboration, I won't go into too much detail here. Misty's going to talk more about our education piece, but we define collaboration a bunch of different ways. We're going to be doing more joint events within our chapter. So you may see someone like Anthony Felipe, who runs our South Regional Education. He may team up with our new Early Careers Chair to put on an event for early careerists and students that want to get more involved in our chapter. I am so proud to be part of Region 5. We have an awesome region: Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina. I'm humbled to be a part of that leadership group. Very strong presidents and volunteers that support us. So we're teaming up. We're teaming up with them to provide events. And then lastly, we're working with other healthcare organizations. Some things we're really excited about is the Florida Hospital Association. They want to team up on an event with us. Saltfuller Hymns. We've done a lot with Hfma and ACHE. A lot of these organizations, we don't see them as competitive. We see them as collaborative. And really that's when you start to get a different side of education, a different type of networking, people you've never met before, which really is cool. And the last piece is provider engagement. I'll talk a little bit more about the advisory council and some other initiatives, but we're generally looking, the more providers we can get engaged and involved, the better. It's that peer-to-peer networking that our providers are looking for, and we're looking to facilitate that. It's going to boost attendance, getting more provider speakers. It's going to boost sponsorship. It really just, it's a domino effect. And so if we can get more providers involved, it's the best for all of us. And so those are kind of some of the things that are going in our chapter success plan.
I think all very exciting things. I know the initiatives will be an exciting topic to go to next, but before I get there, just to kind of add on to what you were saying, we're really trying to make a push on all of our social media. So I'd say first and foremost, follow us on whatever your favorite is. If it's Instagram, LinkedIn, obviously YouTube, you can get a Facebook, but certainly I'd say check up on our YouTube. We have some really cool videos that we're putting together once in a while here, and trying to post more on our Instagram, etc. So we'd love to have you guys follow us on all of those platforms. Definitely your favorite, and then follow us on any of the rest that you are engaged with regularly. So so I know you kind of already mentioned some of the initiatives we're talking about. I think that leads nicely into I don't know if you want to kind of add further to the advisory council. I know maybe some of the certification courses. I know you touched on the chapter website as well. Is there anything else you wanted to kind of discuss on the initiatives portion?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Phil. So we're getting a lot of questions and interest in the advisory council. So I think it's important to talk about that. We appreciate everyone's support. So what is it, right? So the advisory council, it's a small, intimate group of providers, roughly about 10 or 12. These are providers that are in senior leadership roles. They may be a CFO or a VP of rev cycle, and they all share something in common. And that's probably the most important thing I can say about this group. They all sincerely, genuinely believe in the vision and mission that I just outlined for Florida Hfma. And a lot of that is because of their background. They're either past board members, they're either past presidents, they have a strong tie back to Hfma, they're distinguished speakers, you'll always see them at events. They are our ambassador when it comes to an enterprise membership. So they're kind of the key person we're working with for that organizational Hfma membership. So they're very well positioned to be on this advisory council. And this was formed several months ago by John Levine, our president-elect, and me. This is an idea that we really came to. We really wanted to have another group, a group of leaders that the board can work with to help guide our chapter. The chair of this advisory council is Jason Driscoll, vice president of RevCycle over at Lakeland Regional. And this position ultimately falls under a new board position, which is the professional development and forums, which Charity Fannin, who's a chief accounting officer at University of Miami, hosts. So we've got all the right folks in place to lead. Jason's doing an incredible job of leading this group. We're meeting virtually once a month for an hour. We have a specific agenda that we're going through. I think this is going to be our third meeting coming up at the end of this month. And really the benefits is that it helps keep our chapter on track, right? And this is a group where we can ask questions like, what are the hottest topics going on in healthcare? What kind of education do you want us to bring back? Are there certain creative things we can do? How do we provide better networking? We also ask for assistance, in terms of moving from a on-site to a virtual environment and what that would look like. And it's really a two-way street. So the advisory council, they're getting the benefit of that provider networking and talking about topics. But then Hfma and all its members, they're getting the benefit because these provider leaders, they're socializing. When there's upcoming events or opportunities with Hfma, they're socializing it all back to their employees, right? And inviting their team members to attend these events, to get certified, whatever it may be. And so it's really, I'm really excited about how it's starting. It's going to continue to evolve. We're going to be able to create forums out of this. We've had some false starts in the past. We want to get those forums back up and running. Forum for finance, rev cycle reimbursement, and a lot of these folks that are in this advisory council, they have a passion for that. We've already had volunteers stepping up saying they want to lead these forums and get them going. So more to come on that. This is we're still in the infancy stages, but I'm really excited about where it's been heading. The other piece I'll quickly touch upon.
Before we go to the next piece, sorry.
Yeah.
We have our first question. I think it ties nicely into what you were just talking about. So our first question is from Chuck Wood, and he said, "Good morning, Govey. What value do you think providers are looking for from Hfma Florida?" I think it's a great question. I think one of the best parts about our chapter is the heavy provider involvement, and continuing to kind of gear the chapter in a direction that creates more provider involvement and keeps them engaged in a meaningful way. So I don't know if you have maybe an answer for that question that Chuck put forth.
Yeah, and that is really the heart of getting to this advisory council, because I think that's even one of the topics or questions we've asked. And a lot of it is, it comes by no surprise, is topics and speakers are king, just like cash is king. You got to have hot, timely topics that people really care about. As you can see, we're being more diverse in the type of education we're offering, trying to get more A&A in there. You can't be everything to everyone, but I think our chapter does a good job of having the adversity and also intermixing networking events. There's providers join for different reasons. Some are looking to further their professional development, so we offer certification, which is what I was going to just get into. We're the only chapter. I think we're the only chapter doing this in the nation. We have weekly. We're starting off. We did this last year. We're doing weekly classes. Registration is open, so if you're interested in getting your CHFP or CRCR, which I know a lot of providers are, last year we had over 200 in attendance. These are weekly sessions. Our certification chair, Christine Fontaine, runs them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays is a CRCR. Thursdays are a CHFP. It's from 12 to 1. It's about, I think, 10, 12 classes. These are really good. I mean, I don't like to study alone. These are kind of like study group prep classes. And so that's a big benefit. I think a lot of our providers are interested in the topics. And then I'll throw this in there, volunteering. I really feel like, as a provider, if you can get out there and start volunteering, there's so much leadership and business acumen skill set you can build. It's sometimes hard to get those skills when you're kind of wrapped in your day job. But really, we're focusing it from all angles. That's a good question. And Misty, I'm not sure if you want to add in there anything, especially maybe even as it ties to education.
Sure, I do have a little bit I want to talk about education. First and foremost, I know you guys know we're all very sad we're not in person, and me more than anybody, because my team and I have put a lot of work together and we were excited, but we're just going to be moving a lot of that to our spring meeting, which is May 15th through 18th, back at the Vinoy in St. Petersburg. So those sessions that you were looking forward to hopefully will be moved over. Some we'll be doing actually in our regional. As you all know, we have a North region, Central region, and South region directors, and they normally would be having in-person meetings so that the in those areas could actually attend some meetings that weren't too far away. But with COVID and us having to cancel, most of these have become virtual, which means anybody can join. So we have those in the weekly beacon that comes out on the weekly newsletter. It's on our website under chapter events, and get ready to register anytime. I just want to talk a little bit about the ones we have coming up in the next until the end of the year. I've got, as Govi mentioned, we have our certification series. There's two. The first one is the CRCR, and it starts on October 5th, and we'll go every Tuesday from 12 to 1 through, I think the last one is December 7th. So through October, November, and then the first week of December. The second one we have is the Chfp certification. This is going to be on Thursdays between 12 and that starts October 7th, ending December 9th. All of this information is on the website. You can click on education and register. The next one after that we have is the October 21st North Region webinar. This is going to be from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. We do have NASBA CPEs available. We've got 3 sessions. These are free to attend for everyone. So just please don't, hold back because of that. The first one we've got is transparency strategies in an environment where negotiated risks are public. And then the one following that will be the No Surprises Act, what you should know. And last but not least, what if Southwest ran your hospital? Following, we have an in-person that's going to be outdoor. That's going to be on November the 10th. This is in the central region, and Natalie's going to be running this one. It's going to be an in-person working in an outdoor covered location. They'll do a half day of education planned for the afternoon, followed by networking at Armature Works. Please feel free to dress casually for this, flip-flops, whatever you want, just to be comfortable. And this way you can enjoy the company of your people, safe and outdoors. Last but not least, our South region has an education networking event on November 18th. And I don't have more information on that. Anthony, I see you're here. Do you have anything to add? Or well,
yeah, quickly. Sorry about that. So we're just getting our agenda finalized, but we talked about it. We're going to having 4 sessions, 4 total CPEs. Our first session will be a panel discussion with some provider folks from Lee Health and University of Miami on talent acquisition and retention in this kind of new normal. Our next session will be centered around Medicaid denials. That's at 10:30 at 1 o'clock. We have a FASB and GASB update from our friends at RSM, Kirk and Anil. And then we will close out the day at 2:30 with a session, an update on telehealth. We're also working on potentially integrating a fun event there around the lunchtime frame. So stay tuned for more info on that. We should have the registration open here in the next week or so.
wonderful.
Very
Sounds
cool.
great.
So
Sorry, go ahead, Phil.
no, I was just saying I plan on being there. So get ready for these events. It's nice to be able to see people in person. Obviously, it's tough not to be in person today at our event, etc.
Right.
But go ahead, Misty. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you did. I was just going to say, hopefully I'll see some of you, if it's not canceled, in Minneapolis, Minnesota in November. I'm hoping it's not snowing, but could be. And that wraps it up. We have some others planned for the spring. We have another fireside chat between now and then. So hold those. So back to you, Phil.
Yeah, I know we're having, I don't know if everybody, there's a little gap in coverage. I'm sorry for having a couple technical difficulties. I know I, for one, got some thunderstorms, so I don't know if that's part of it. But no, that was a great outlook kind of on upcoming events. I know we talked about advisory council certification, chapter website. Do we touch on maybe why we canceled in person? Do you want to speak to that at all, Misty?
Well, I will. We talked about it for a couple of weeks within the board and the committees. Certainly was pushing for having it in person, but then we reached out to the advisory council and some providers and found that many of them were not sure they were going to be able to attend, and some were even our speakers. So we didn't want to have to, have the sessions and not have our speakers, or have them remotely, because we felt like we could do a better job and actually have more people on site webinar instead of in person. So that, the board got together, we had a quick meeting and just decided that it wouldn't be worth to our members and their health. And just as much as we were excited to do it, we just felt we would have felt much worse if someone would have gotten ill from attending. So
I think it's smart to keep the health and wellness of our members, the first and foremost in the front of our
absolutely.
concern there. So that's great. I know we're kind of running towards the top of the hour, so I'm going to try to get through a couple more of these topics that we have. We talked about some of the upcoming events, key dates. I'd say, again, for the key dates and stuff, obviously we send out emails for our events, but keep an eye on our LinkedIn, our social media pages for announcements for those as well. I think the next topic I had is really our ask for our members. And that's, sign up for our LinkedIn, go to our website. Govi, did you want to touch on the founders points at all?
Oh yeah. Real quick. I'm not sure if many of you know, but Hfma, the association, they have what's called founders points. You can think of this as like a loyalty program, similar to like the miles you earn when you fly or hotel points. It's all self-reported though, or most of it, I think, is self-reported. So you have to go on Nationals, the association websites, log in, go to your profile, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So anytime you volunteer, speak at an event, do something related to support our chapter Hfma, you can build points. And then more points you build, you get recognition. We give awards, prizes. If you're not going to do it for yourself, I know a lot of you are in managerial, director roles. Do it for your team members. Encourage your team members to do it. Just as I would say, encourage your team members to attend our certification courses. We're your arms dealer. We can put the events up and make them happen. We rely a lot on you all to really help spread the word and get the attendance going. But I agree with Phil. Yeah, follow us on LinkedIn, especially if you're not getting our weekly newsletter. It's going in your spam. Check out our website. Check out the photo galleries, and there's also a lot of volunteer opportunities if you're interested in getting involved. Go to our website. It's probably the easiest thing. We have a section, get involved, volunteer. You can click on that. We just updated it. We have over 40 different committees. There's something literally for everyone. Even in this virtual capacity, it kind of gets a little bit tricky, but there's definitely opportunities, whether it's kind of helping us clean up our speakers bureau, or it's helping us with our early careers initiatives. We're looking for mentors, mentees, looking to build relationships with universities, sponsorship, education. There's a lot out there. So now's the time to get plugged in. We'll create that bridge to get you involved with the chapter.
Yep. And just as a follow-up to that, our chat box, I know we've posted links for a couple of things we talked about. There's a link for the CRCR registration. There's a link for the CHFP registration. I know Natalie put a couple notes in here. I'll just read hers real quick. The next beacon should be focusing on education, including links to registering both the CR and CHFP series. Again, those links are here as well. We also post a link to the North Region virtual event registration that's in the chat box. So feel free to go there if that's something of interest to you. And lastly, Natalie just put a clarification. You email your founders chair, and the founders committee will key in the points as the member does not key it in. So, and then you can check your points by going to the founders points on your Hfma profile.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Natalie, for that. Good comment. Well, I think really informative, great fireside chat. Appreciate everybody jumping on for this live. I think we'll be transitioning to start the day with the rest of our sessions here. But again, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat box, raise your hand, whatever works for you. And thank you everyone for joining.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. And you're not rid of me yet. I'm going to kick this off this morning. I'm going to start with, well, first of all, as I didn't mention earlier, but my name is Misty Davis. I work with MDS, and I'm the Director of Statewide Education and Programs for Florida Hfma. Welcome to our first educational session for the 2021 Florida Hfma Virtual Fall Conference.